It is Tuesday, July 16th, 2024. Decided I should probably do a follow-up on the assassination attempt on Trump on July 13th. Now, there is not a ton of evidence that's come out or information that's come out that was really not expected. I expect that literally most of the information that's really earth-shattering is not going to come out for several months, if not several years from now. Remember, I did mention the whole 1963 assassination of JFK in Dallas, Texas, and there's still bits and pieces of information coming out on that over 60 years later. It's probably going to be the same type of situation with this. Now, as of right now, the local police department and the Secret Service are pointing fingers at each other, blaming each other for the fuck up. Reportedly, a week ago, the Security Service assessment team, whatever their official name of their team is, came through, inspected the site a week ago, a week before the rally. The team did identify the building that was used by the shooter was of extremely high concern, that someone needed to be posted up there. Somewhere along the way, no one was designated to be up there. Now, according to protocol from what Secret Service veterans are saying, if Secret Service does not have enough people to post someone on a building like that or a water tower or the top of a hill, local police is required to post someone there. I don't know if that information was communicated down to the local police. It's possible it wasn't. One former Secret Service agent was saying in an interview yesterday that I listened to that even a police officer just parking his patrol car next to the building, that usually is a pretty good deterrent for most potential shooters. Not the more hardcore ones or the ones that are probably working for a three-letter agency or are unwittingly working for a three-letter agency that stoked them up in social media and encouraged them to do something stupid. There is word that some of the officers on the ground that were there hearing the people yelling out, "Shooter, guy with a gun up on top of the building," they contacted the operations center. The operations center would have been run by the Secret Service detail. Reportedly, cannot be confirmed, but reportedly, the Secret Service detail responded back with, "You're not secret squirrels, stand down. This is not your job." So we got a couple things that's going on here. If this is true, if that is what happened, we have here either a deliberate breach of security that was allowed to happen, and you can tell that by the response from the operations center telling the local police to stand down. The other option is that this could be someone whose head was so far up their ass and was upset that a guy in a local police department, not Secret Service, was upset that the local guys were trying to push them out of the way, try to make it look like they're better than Secret Service, and copped an attitude, and what happened. Now, I did hear yesterday in an interview that Trump's security detail that day had only 20 people assigned to it and only one counter sniper team. There's talk that there was 2, but it sounds like there was only 1 assigned by the Secret Service. And former Secret Service agents are saying that this is far below the standard. But that's what they did have is the standard for your average former president. But it does not follow protocols for an active political candidate, especially one who is the front runner of their political party, to be one of the candidates for the presidency in November. So someone dropped the ball. My question would be, was that done deliberately by their headquarters in Washington, D.C., which would fall under Kimberly Cheadle? She would be the one to take automatic responsibility for this because she's the one in charge. She should have ordered additional agents assigned to the detail because it is an active political candidate who is the front runner. So was this done on purpose for this type of situation to occur? That we're not going to know the answers on that for a long time. I have not heard if Kimberly Cheadle has said, yes, I will appear in front of Congress yet. She has been summoned officially by the House of Representatives and the Senate, their oversight committees, to answer questions about what happened on Saturday. Maybe an official statement will come out from the Secret Service today on that. But as of this morning, when I'm making this video, no official statement has come out yet. Now, there is something out there that the shooter, Crooks, is his name? Something, yeah. Crooks might have been a follower of Antifa. And I say might because it has not been confirmed. But there is a rumor out there that on social media he is members of or follows groups on social media for New York Antifa, Seattle, Portland, Los Angeles, and a few other groups that are tied into Antifa and the pro-Hamas, aka pro-Palestinian organizations. That has not been officially confirmed yet. When we get the official press release on that, information from Secret Service or FBI or whoever, then we'll know for sure. Until we have that information, it is just hearsay. Now, another thing I want to bring up, and this is the primary reason I'm doing this video today. Now, starting right off the bat on Saturday, there was a huge disinformation campaign that was going on. This had to have been coordinated because it was just way too well organized. Granted, you're going to have people that are spreading information out there, you know, as soon as they come across it because they're on edge and that stuff. They want to be one of those people to get the stuff out right away. I understand that. But there was a lot of disinfo that was out there deliberately to muddy the waters. One of the things we seen right away within 30 minutes of the shooting, Trump was still at the hospital or on the way to the hospital to get evaluated. There was already people posting that the shooter had been positively identified as a member of Antifa and posted a picture. Now that picture was of a TikToker who isn't even in the United States. They were like in Italy or somewhere. And that person, as soon as they seen their picture being posted out there as the shooter, they were automatically posting, no, it's not me, stop posting my picture. Eventually, the reports were refuted that that person was the shooter. Now, it was several hours later, that's when the first reports came out that it was this kid named Crooks, and this was before confirmation from Secret Service. Now, ATF or leaks from ATF indicate that they had identified the shooter within an hour of the shooting. And one of the ways they ID'd the person is by running the serial number on the firearm. That firearm was purchased from a now closed gun store. And for those that are not aware of this, but everyone should be, the 4473s, ATF Form 4473 forms, are required to be turned into the ATF when a gun store is closed. Now, the ATF is supposed to destroy those, but they don't. That's why a lot of us say those forms are a backdoor gun registration. And I think we now seen proof on that. If they were able to identify a person within 1 hour by the make of the rifle, the maker, the model, and the serial number, running that through their database, they had the name of the person within 60 minutes. That's a fucking gun registration database. Something for you to think about. Now, another thing that I was seeing on Saturday, and I kind of let it slide. There was people posting this even in my own chat room. I let it slide because I knew people were on edge. They were tense in that stuff, and there was going to be a real visceral, a real emotional response going on. So I let it be. But there was people posting that this is it. This is Antifa attacking the president. We need to start attacking Antifa now. We have to start attacking their rallies. We have to start beating up their people. We have to start bombing their headquarters. Well, first off, Antifa does not have headquarters, okay? Antifa operates like a classic guerrilla organization in that sense. Their leadership only comes together privately at unannounced meetings. They meet at a location, have the meeting, and then disperse right away. They do not have a set headquarters or building that they operate from. That's actually against doctrine. They're not supposed to do that. So there is no Antifa headquarters for someone to bomb. And I want to point out that people need to really think about this. It's been a few days now. Clear your heads. Think rationally. These calls for violence, what does it accomplish? I'm giving you a few seconds here to think about it. If someone from quote-unquote the right wing or from MAGA or a patriot attacks an Antifa person or a Democrat or some other left-leaning group right now, that will be exploited by the regime that is in power to crack down on everyone. That act would prove them right, where they're constantly saying on how it's the white MAGA extremists who are the greatest terrorist threat to this country. So that kind of tells me, and this is still going on, I am still seeing posts of this on social media, that is something that's being done on purpose by three-letter agencies to get the right to do something stupid, to become the great security threat that the regime in power tells us we are. And what have I been saying? I've been saying this for weeks now, months, and it's on videos here. You can go back. I do not believe there's going to be an election in November. I believe they will come up with some excuse not to hold it. And don't you think a quote-unquote armed right-wing rebellion or insurrection where people are dying from bombs, IEDs, and shootings, that could be exploited by the regime in power to cancel the election, stay in power, and also crack down on their political enemies, aka you and me. So don't fall for it. If someone is still posting on social media right now that people need to go out and attack Democrats, attack anyone who is purple-haired with the fucking gay flag fucking bumper stickers and whatever, if you see someone still actively promoting that, as of today, Tuesday the 16th, I'm going to say that there is a 99.99% chance they're working for the feds. They are an instigator trying to get people to be stupid and give the regime exactly what they want and need to stay in power. So, don't fall for it. Another thing that I am seeing over the past few days here is a huge push for people to join Patriot Front. Now, this could be the organization is just using this as, you know, their recruiting drive to get more members. But it could also be that this is being promoted to get people to affiliate with them and do something stupid. Now, I have said for a long time now, since they first started appearing in the news big time, that I'm about to sneeze here, just so you're aware of it. Patriot Front has all the little signs that you look for a Fed-run operation. When you look at them, some people have pointed out that their general clothes are the same ones according to DOJ regulations officers are supposed to wear when they attend rallies without, you know, having clear identification on them that they are law enforcement, especially FBI. But they have a set style of clothes they're supposed to wear to identify them for officers to recognize. And apparently the clothes that they wear is a variation of that uniform or those prescribed clothing. Also, it's been pointed out, I think it was Salty Cracker or someone who did it. It might have been Monkey Works, I'm not sure. Pointed out how another clear indicator that this is a Fed-run op. These guys always have police protection. No other Patriot group can get police support, especially to the level that Patriot Front always gets. Now, when Patriot Front shows up somewhere, and this has been pointed out multiple times, they don't show up in a bus or anything like that. They show up in the back of panel trucks, like U-Hauls or other rented cargo trucks. And you are not allowed to transport people in the back of vehicles like that. There are stories of families literally being prosecuted for doing that, where families were moving from one city to another. They didn't have a car, so the entire family loaded up inside the U-Haul. The kids were riding in back with their belongings, while the parents were up front in the cab. They got pulled over. The police found that there was kids riding in back. They were perfectly safe. It's not like there was boxes falling on them. The parents were arrested. The kids were taken away by Child Protective Services, and then the whole brouhaha in the court. But with Patriot Front, you can have these U-Hauls or Ryder trucks or whatever show up where these guys are packed in back, literally nut to butt like they're sardines in a can, being escorted by the police, and nothing ever happens to them. Something to think about. So, you also have the thing where you do see Patriot Front people occasionally get detained on camera, but they never appear in court. Charges are never brought against them. Compare that to, say, a 70-year-old grandma walking inside the Capitol building in the hallways, staying within the velvet ropes of the area authorized for tourists. Grandma is the greatest threat to national security and has to spend the rest of her life in prison. But these guys are literally the definition of what the DOJ and the White House tells us is a terrorist threat, gets arrested calling for violence, and are never charged. Something to think about, isn't it? Patriot Front glows in the dark. And I have seen a huge push since Saturday on social media where people are saying that Patriot Front is not a Fed operation. They're the real resistance. They're standing up to the regime. Join Patriot Front right now. Let's get stuff started. They're the only ones that are willing to fight back. So you have two things going on here. You have people being funneled towards Patriot Front. It's a Fed operation. I'll just outright say it. I was going to say 99.9%. It's clearly Fed run. You have postings trying to get people to join that organization, and at the same time encouraging people to do active violence. Stay away from Patriot Front, and definitely don't do nothing stupid. And like Kaz did yesterday, I will reiterate to everyone once again. Militias are defensive during peacetime. Guess what? It is still peacetime. I know there's going to be people upset hearing that. But we do not see mass formations of troops being deployed across the country against us right now. There are not battalions of paratroopers and military police and infantry moving down our streets, going house to house, confiscating weapons and arresting people. That is not happening. So there is no active war going on at this time, which means militias, resistance, conservatives, patriots need to be on the defensive. You should have a higher level of situational awareness right now, but you should not be going out there actively attacking targets at this time. Because if you do that, you are literally giving the regime that's in power what they want. Don't do it. I know that's going to piss off a lot of little Zoomers out there who right now are probably tapping out comments in the comment section here calling me a stupid boomer who's weak, who's a coward. I want to point out which one of us served in the U.S. military and went overseas during time of war. Is it you, you little, 17-year-old and 20-year-old Zoomer whose closest they ever got to warfare was Call of Duty? Or is it me who's actually been in the desert, been shot at, who did participate in actual real-life warfare? So who's the coward? Mr. Keyboard Warrior? I'm more than willing to fight again, especially to defend this country. But I'm also smart enough, because of the number of years since I was in my 20s, young, dumb, and full of cum, full of piss and vinegar, and willing to kill any fucking raghead that was in front of me without mercy, except women and kids. I have a huge hang up on killing women and kids, and always have. But as I've said before, those of us that have seen war do not want to see it again, especially on our own soil. But if we have to do it, guess what? We're going to. And because it's on our own soil, we won't hold back. We have the experience, we have the knowledge, and we are fully capable of putting that into operation again. So you little Gen Z kids that are all pissed off right now, you think, you know, the world is just so fucking bad, you know, there is no future. Settle the fuck down. And just keep watch of what we're doing. We will let you know when it is time, and it's not time yet. I think the current operation is developing. I think we're going to see a lot more very questionable shit, a lot more very weird shit that will happen. As the common saying goes, it's going to get worse before it gets worse. We're not at that point yet where we need to gear up and start pulling triggers. When would be a good time? Oh, I don't know. Maybe if they start going around now using this stuff as an excuse and start arresting political opponents. Maybe you start hearing that Alex Jones went nuts and killed his family and then committed suicide. You know, that might be an indication that, hey, maybe it's time. Maybe they're coming after us. Maybe if we hear that you know, Mark Kernke up in Michigan was arrested again, or they came to arrest Mark Kernke and he yelled out, "You'll never take me alive," went out in a blaze of glory. Maybe that would be a indication that something's going on and it's time to get spicy. But we're not at that point yet, are we? And we all need to be thankful for that. We all should be doubling and tripling our efforts to get ready right now. This assassination attempt against Trump is not a one and done thing. They will develop the situation. There's a particular outcome they want. They will get that outcome. It just means they have to switch to plan B and then plan C and plan D until they get what they want. What do we want? We want them to do something that is so glaringly obvious, so in your face, that no one can deny it or disprove it. If we have it on cell phone video of DOJ people going after a well-known patriot, you see them going into the house, you see gunfire and that stuff. They then bring the guy outside, get him down on his knees on camera. Maybe, hopefully, we hear what the agent says to him as someone comes up behind him, puts the gun to the back of his head, pulls the fucking trigger, and then the next day the news story says Patriot went crazy, murdered his family, and committed suicide in the yard. But if his neighbors has that footage, posts it online, I'd say that would be something that would definitely get people on our side, wouldn't it? And a pretty big indicator that stuff is going hot. I don't want anyone to bring up Duncan Lemp. That was years ago. I don't want anyone to bring up Lavoy Finicum. That also was years ago. Those times, those situations have come and went. So those could be used as battle cries, but they cannot be used as calls for war. And I do not recommend anyone do a call for war right now, because that just plays into the regime's hands. So make sure your weapon's cleaned, your magazines are topped off, and you are hiding as much supplies as you can in your area. Get those cache barrels in the ground, those totes in the ground, boxes in the ground, those cans hidden in those work sheds and abandoned vehicles, so that when stuff does go spicy, you have supplies out there that you can fall back on, so that you'll be fed. You can top off your magazines. You'll have the medical supplies you need to take care of anyone who's injured. And you have the replacement gear and uniforms to replace anything that just wasn't as good as you thought it was. So keep your head on a swivel. Don't do nothing stupid. Stay away from anyone that's advocating violence right now. And stay away from any groups that are trying to set themselves up right now as, we are the resistance, join us, we're going to take the country back. Try to stay local, people that you know. Friends, family, co-workers, people that you trust. Because remember, when it comes down to it, the only person you can truly trust is the person who's standing right next to you at the time with a rifle. And that rifle is pointed in the same direction you're pointing yours. Now, for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot and militia movements, always remember Essayons.